There we go. Sorry about that. All right. So here's what we're going to do today. We are going to go through the buyer consultation. Woo! This is, in my opinion, one of the most impactful things that you can do. It is something that a lot of real estate agents are not doing. Your buyer consultation is the opportunity to build rapport with your buyer in person, to show that you know what you're talking about, and see, perhaps most importantly, set expectations for how your process is going to go with this person, from the moment you sit there to the moment that they get keys on the day they close on their property. Okay. Um, so first, you're going to say, like, okay, Dave, we're talking about how to do a buyer consultation. Why do you have Command open? Well, guys, because the buyer consultation has already been created for you in Command. That's amazing. So, where is it? How do you find it? What do you do? Okay. So over here, these little applets, I think that's the word for these things, on the left. One of them, the little paintbrush, is designs. So let's click on designs. All right. Now, this is a number of things that I've been working on. You will see that I tried to make several ads. We're going to ignore these because the only one we care about is my updated buyer consultation. So I'm going to take you through this, but I'm going to show you I'm going to take you through this because it's mine and I edited it. Wow, that's hard to say. Edited it. If you were to create your own from scratch, I'm going to show you at least what that looks like before we get into mine. So it'd be create design over here. This is going to be something that you're going to want for print. You would hit next. Of course, it's going to make me sign in. So forgive me while I sign in. I know this is stirring content. Let me sign back in. That's right. I changed my password because we all had to. Forgot about that. Sign me in. Riveting. Okay, here we go. Any moment. Okay. So here is what designs in Command looks like. You have any number of different areas that you can click here. Let me just minimize all these. We're talking about buyer consultations today, so we're looking at the buyer presentation. It says presentation. I say consultation. Whatever Asian you want to do. Let's click on that buyer presentation. They're all basically the same. Like they look a little different aesthetically on the cover. I liked this one, so I did this one. So you would click use, and then all of a sudden it goes into your designs little folder. So let me see if I can get back there real quick. Just showing you how to find it. Let's get back there. Click on that boom again. Boop. All right. Yes, I know how to do this. I've done it several times. Okay. So this is what this will look like for you. Now you'll notice I did this, the K-Do family, Matt and I designed this as kind of a presentation to give to him. Now, again, it's worth saying here that the buyer presentation that is created for you by default by Keller Williams and placed here in Command, it's something like 40 pages, 35 pages. It's a lot. You definitely don't want to hand your buyers a 35 to 40 page document that says this, that, the other thing. It's just too much. You're going to overwhelm them. So you're going to go through and delete a lot of things, and that's totally okay. You'll see up here that I actually only have 17. And frankly, I think that's a lot. I'm a lot, so that makes sense. But it's too many, right? You want to get rid of some of that stuff. So let's kind of take you through what I've created and what I personally deem relevant. So this is just a title page. You can personalize this stuff. So like if I wanted to change this to like, okay, so I just did one last night for the K-Do family. And then tomorrow night I have the Ruiz family coming in. So I'm going to make that change, right? I can do that. And I have my logo here. You can add photos and stuff in here too. We're not going to talk about how to do designs today. We're just doing the buyer consult. So anyway, let's go through the pages. I guess I have to click on them individually. So, this is another one I did. I need to change this name so I can change all this stuff up here too. Again, the example we're doing is Melanie's. We're doing the Ruiz. I've got my own photo here, which you can add. I've got compliments of me, my name. I got a QR code. I forget what this one goes to. I think it's my app actually. But I have my title page, and then I have kind of like a secondary title page. It just says like, hey, this is me, and some of my content information. One page I've left is why this is a good decision. Now I put this quote here, I added for myself. You guys, if you've taken a class with me, you've heard me say this, that real estate is the most reliable and most accessible means of building wealth available to an entire generation of people. I added that, which is to say that you can edit these pages as much as you want. You can delete pages, add pages, change what the pages say. You can do this all within command. Like if I wanted to say like important, I don't want to say important, let's say significant. I can make these changes. So I left that in there because I feel like this page is kind of an overview, right? Your needs come first. This is just me talking about, why we're here. We're not here for me, right? I'm the agent. We're talking to the buyer. This is the buyer's process. Well, I'm telling them what my process is, but they're telling me what they want and how to get there. And this page in here is valuable, especially this section I'm highlighting here. This is a great question to ask them. What's the one thing that has to happen to make this dream scenario a reality? And they'll tell you like, oh, I don't know if I get this house in the next like 3 months. Okay, great. How can I make that happen? And why is that important to you? Why 3 months? Why not 6? Why not 1? These are questions that you can ask. And just to be clear, these buyer consultations, generally speaking, it's you asking questions more than it is you explaining things. There will certainly be some things to explain in the process, but mostly this is asking questions and uncovering their motivation. So one thing that I do believe is important that does come in this presentation by default is how do people want to be communicated with? Some of us like to be emailed. Some of us like to be called. Some of us like to be texted. Some of it likes to be group texted. Like if it's a couple, maybe they both want to be texted. You don't want to text 2 people, so this is where you would get permission to say do a group chat. Maybe it's just one person wants to be texted, or maybe you have to call them every day. Like this is where you set that up. You're setting expectations. Your buyer consultation is the best opportunity you have to set expectations. So I might be like, so John, how would you like me to communicate with you? Do you prefer that I call you when I have updates? Should I text you or email? And then they'll tell you. Generally I like to text somebody, but if I have a client who says I'd really rather be emailed, well, I'm going to email them because that's what they want. What's the best time to reach you? Most people think that like, oh, okay, you have a job, so you work 9 to 5, so we can talk mostly during the evenings. Well, what if that person is an overnight doctor? Maybe they want to talk in the morning or the afternoon. Who knows? This is the time for them to share this with you. So you're just kind of talking about how you're going to communicate. This is a very important thing to get right on immediately. So this next page, I actually added this page, so you won't find this in the default designs template. If you would like to add this to yours, please come find me. I'd be happy to share this with you. This is the most important part of the buyer consultation. This is where you're learning what the buyer wants. Do you want a multifamily home, a single family home, a condo? Do you need it to be in Exeter? Do you need it to be in Cranston? Do you need it to be in Woonsocket, Smithfield, whatever? This is where you find that out. Now, pro tip for anybody who's doing a buyer consultation. If somebody says, yeah, I want a 3-bedroom house in Smithfield for $600,000 is my maximum price point. You might hear that and be like, okay, cool, I got it. No, you don't. This is the opportunity to dive in and find somebody's true motivation. We talk about this a lot, especially with buyers. Why are we doing what we're doing? I think it was Simon Sinek, and I'm going to butcher the quote, but the quote is something like, people don't care about what you're doing until they know why you're doing it, which is to say that identifying somebody's motivation in a process is the best way to ensure that you are providing just all-star service. So again, the example I gave, 3-bedroom house, Smithfield, 600,000. I might say, oh, what's important to you about having a 3-bedroom home? And it could just be as simple as like, well, we work from home. Like say it's just like a couple, no kids or anything. Like, oh, we work from home and we just need an office space. Or we have friends who visit from out of town. Well, I mean, that's important. You have friends from out of town. Oh, do you guys like to host? Do you need a big yard for have barbecues in? It opens the door for other questions, right? Or it might be like, you know what, we live in an apartment right now and the apartment's kind of ratty and we're expecting our first child in a couple of months and we would like our child to grow up at home. That's a real heartfelt message, which comes with a lot more impact than Smithfield 3 bed 600,000. So this is your opportunity to ask question after question after question about what they want, why they want. Okay. The bulk of your conversation should probably be spent on this page. Okay. I cannot stress that enough. This is why they're there. They are sitting with you to tell you what they want. Okay. And then once they told you what they want, it's up to you to talk about your process. Now, this is something that you can definitely change around. Well, I should be careful when I say that. The process is basically going to be the same, but if your process is slightly different, then maybe that's a chance for you to change, like some of the stuff. Let's see. Well, when I say that, maybe I don't really want to change any of this, but whatever. The point is, we're going through the process of buying the property. So they're going to partner with an agent. That's you. If they need a loan, they're going to get pre-approved for that, and they're going to find the home. All this stuff, it takes you through the process. You're meant to take them through it. This is a good opportunity for me to tell you guys, you probably shouldn't be giving this presentation for the first time with them in front of you. You should be practicing this ahead of time so that when you get to this process, especially if it's your first one, you can actually explain it with some competence. Okay. I think the next page is just continuing on the same thing. Yep. Once we're under contract, we do this. This is what it looks like. This is your chance to set all the expectations. Notice it's a lot of expectations to set. It's 2 full pages of it. As well it should be. It's a complicated process. That's why they have us. Financing. I have this in here because it's important. I am not a finance expert, and neither are you. We are real estate agents. This is not our lane. This is the lender's lane. We stay in the real estate lane. However, most of the time, buyers are going to have questions about financing. So a little general knowledge on this would help. One thing you can do is have the lender in this consultation with you. I have had our partners at Loan Depot come in and sit with me while I'm doing this. It actually works great because it gives everybody a good chance to kind of go through what they need to do to get approved if they are not already approved by the time they sit with you. I would like it if they were, but hey, listen, sometimes it's not going to happen that way. And if not, it's great to have the lender there to take you through some of the finance pages. Okay. You have an app, which they should be shopping for properties through this app. I have a link. I have a QR code here. I had to add this manually, a QR code to download my app. So if somebody scans this, and I'm printing this out, it's actually a good time to say this. I'm printing this out and I'm giving it to them so that they have the sheet in front of them. They can take their phone out, scan the QR code right there, then in front of me, and then they'll be connected with me in Command if they're not already. They probably are, but at least now they do it this way. I know that they are. Okay. So this just kind of talks about about the app. I'm definitely not reading them everything. I don't need to read them what the search means. I don't need to read them what neighborhoods. All I need to say is like, hey, this is just a little bit of information about my app. Here's a QR code that you can scan and download it. That's all you need. Nobody wants you to just read this entire thing to them. This is for your experience. This is kind of your de facto resume. You might decide for your business that it makes a ton of sense to include this. You might decide that it doesn't. If you have never done a deal and you've been in the business for all of a week, it probably doesn't make sense to say, oh, I've been in here for 1 week. Like that will look strange to a buyer. But if you've been in for a while or you want to include it, or anything else that you think is relevant, like, okay, maybe I haven't been an agent for long, but I worked in property management for 15 years. Like maybe that's something to include here. It's just an opportunity to kind of like serve as a resume for you. Let's continue. Your trusted partner, this is just kind of solidifying at this point. Here's all this. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry about that. I have shared all this information with you. This is just something about how we're partners. I actually don't even read any of this. This is just something for them to have, which I only tell you because we're not supposed to read all this. I have included some reviews here of me. If you don't have reviews yet, then you probably won't have a review page, but you can ask friends and family to submit reviews for you, even if you haven't closed a transaction. It could be like, okay, well, we're currently looking. My realtor has been great while my search continues. Or I worked with so-and-so at another company and they were fantastic. Like whatever you need to like beef up your credibility, this is a chance to add it. So I do have a review page that has actual recent reviews um, on this page for me. Here I have my second form that I have added that I created. I call it my intake form. If they are not already in my database, this is a chance for me to get them into my database. I want their full legal name. This is important. Let's say somebody's name is Richard, but they go by Ben, which is a real person in my life whose name is Richard but goes by Ben. I can't write a contract with Ben Smith because that's not his name. It has to be Richard Smith because that's his name. The best email for me to reach you, your best contact information, what's your mailing address, your birthday. This information is important because within your contact card in Command, all of this information contributes to the health of your database. This is an amazing opportunity to get somebody's full information into your database immediately. So that's why I have them fill this out. I do like to know what their favorite food is and where they like to eat and what their hobbies are. And they'll say, why do you need to know that, Dave? I'll say, because when we celebrate your closing, how am I going to know where to take you? Or how am I going to know what kind of closing gift to get you? And they're like, you. And then I do that. I had a closing last week where somebody was very into Legos and Star Wars. I got them a Star Wars Legos thing for closing because I did this, because I knew that that's what they liked. And I do like to know how they found me in case there's somebody who I need to thank for the referral. Because this is a page I made myself. If you'd like a copy of it, please come see me. I'm happy to share it with you. Just a final page on how to get in touch with me. This has my blog that I write, my YouTube channel. This has my phone number, my email. If you need to find me, it's on here. And then just the last two pages are a glossary of terms. These did come in the KW created buyer consultation. So I left them in here. Real estate is its own language, so I do think it's kind of important to leave this in here, because you're going to say something like, "Oh, we have to get through the appraisal before it's closed," and you'd like them to ask you what that means, but maybe they won't. Maybe they'll be like, "Oh, I don't want to ask Dave any more questions. Let me see if it's in that glossary he gave me." And then, oh my God, it is. Okay. So let's spend a minute or two just kind of like putting a cap on this. What I've shared here, the screen that I've taken you through, is how it's the buyer consultation that I actually use with my clients. Again, yours can be different. You can add things, you can take things out. I would encourage you not to make it too long because nobody wants to be inundated with you reading them a huge presentation. In fact, even going through this to demonstrate this for you guys, I was like, I probably don't really need this page. That happens. So you want this to be as short and sweet as possible. Again, this is your opportunity to set expectations, to show them how you work, how professional you are, and really set yourself apart. I guarantee you, if you ask a bunch of real estate agents if this is something they do, they'll say no. Or if you ask somebody who's bought a property, you'll say, "Oh, did your agent do a buyer consultation with you?" And they're like, "Oh no, what's that?" It's a chance to really show what your professional standards are. So this is something that is well worth investing time in. Once you've done your lead generation for the day, it is well worth investing time in making a good buyer consultation, so that when you do convert one of these leads into an appointment, you have something great to show them that is streamlined, that is effective and efficient, and that shows them how professional you are and that you know what you're doing. If you have any further questions about the consultation, how to find it in Command, how to edit it, please come find your coach. We will bring you through this and make sure that your presentation is up and running and ready to help you convert leads to contracts. All right, that's all.